3 of 4 in the SRL Racing League Stock Car Series Championship. After Watkins Glen and Road America, we are now on to the final sprint of this season. The two ovals and the shift that we have all been highly anticipating. Today we're here at Talladega Upa Speedway, a 4.3 kilometer oval. In fact, the longest oval on the NASCAR calendar in real life as well as here, marginally longer than Daytona. It's often a showstopper with the drivers able to hit very large speeds, often over 200 miles an hour, as they thunder through its grounds side by side. It's sure to be rather entertaining. Today, alongside me in the commentary box, on the cameras as per usual, is Jacob Reed, and making his return this week is Tom Dillon. How are you guys doing today?
I'm alright, thank you. How are you? Not sure what happened there to my voice, but we are back for some oval racing action. The egg-shaped oval today, Talladega. Of course, famous through both its NASCAR racing and its appearances in Hollywood. So I've been told by Anthony Nippon, the race director, that there will be cautions after every single stage in the race. Stage 1 will be lap 1 to lap 13. Stage 2 will be lap 14 to 26. Stage 3 will be lap 36 to 52. Just to kind of, they're like competition cautions, I guess you could say. So they sound quite interesting, actually, in addition to the league.
Yeah, how are you feeling about this, Jake? Of course, you're the expert on ovals. I'm sure you've been anticipating this more than most people.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting for most of these guys who, this is their first time on a plate track, so it's going to be occasionally questionable at times with the racing, but it hopefully should be close and fun, especially to watch.
So we've only got 20 people in the server today, 21 actually. Kevin Veitch, 22. Oh, interesting. Jake Denhern has made an appearance. 6 minutes to go in qualifying, and Leonov is on pole position with 51.87.
Some things never seem to change, do they? Netrex on pole again.
I said in my predictions article at the start of the season, they might be, they're definitely going to have to adapt to the oval format, but I think they're going to do it quite well. Though I think what is going to be difficult is how people work with each other in this race, because obviously you can't just really go on your own. We're going to see some team strategy involved, and I think that's going to be quite interesting. You don't typically win over races on your own, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you want as teammates to qualify pretty close to each other and then move through the field together. Leonov has been bumped off pole by Stoyan Barbakov, who had a decent showing in Road America, certainly better than that of Watkins Glen, but I think we still have more to see from him. He's currently got his car on pole position, though. Leonov in second place. It looks pretty good through Sector 1, and he's purple in Sector 2. It's a great lap so far. Got to be careful not to cross the apron, or either your lap will be invalidated or you're just going to lose the car. Here he comes into the last corner and up towards the line. Here at Dega, where's he going to put his Netrex car as he cuts the timing beam and goes quickest? Back on top goes Ivan Leonov with 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Now, I don't expect his time to be... I don't expect his time to not be beaten this qualifying session. I don't think I'll be good enough for pole. Ivan moves up to third. Smith moves up to sixth and is on a lap trying to improve that position. Up to the timing beam he now comes. Improves fastest in Sector 3 through the last corner and goes third fastest, which will be his best qualifying of the season by a long shot.
Of course, this won't be the first qualifying, the first session.
Oh, João Kosidis has put it on pole position out of nowhere.
Oh,
sorry to cut you off there. He's came out of absolutely nothing. He's not been anywhere near the front in either of the road course races, but he's currently on pole position. Although here comes Stoyan Barbakov. Is he going to reclaim it? Yes, he is. He goes back onto pole position. So this is going to really go down to the wire. Every time someone cuts the timing beam, they go quickest, it seems. And now Sean Jones goes fourth fastest. And Van der Neer immediately displaces him to fourth. Ivanov now goes fourth as well. This is brilliant to watch. And they're all, look at how close they all are to each other. And here comes Ren Ildi Edo. He goes sixth fastest. This is going to be interesting.
The track evolution is definitely coming to its own in this last sort of 30 seconds. These lap times are really quickly racking up. Although that being said, the 51.809 of Burbakov is very marginally faster than the original time of Leonov. It shows how little discrepancy there is. It's a tenth spreading the entire field. And also interesting to see how tight of a line all of these drivers are taking. I would have, as someone who hasn't done much NASCAR, I would have expected you to go right out wide and then come back in. But everyone seems to be keeping it low and just kind of making the most of that apron as close as they can run to it.
Yes, it's such a shorter distance running kind of the bottom that you just the lap time is significantly faster than taking what would be a traditional racing line like you usually would on a road course. As we see Gaustadis here,
Back
and he
on
goes back to
pole.
pole.
Back on pole position. So on his next attempt, he takes it. Barbakov. This is becoming a theme: a green sector 1 and then a purple sector 2. So improving their first sectors just on themselves, but then going quickest in the middle. And through the last corner comes Stoyan Barbakov. Where does he go? Back onto pole position goes the number 19.
Although someone has gone
NASCAR.
purple in sector 2.
Here's Viktor Ivanov. Hasn't been displaced from 4th position, quite surprisingly, if I'm honest. Here he comes in the Netrex and improves up to 3rd place with another personal best in the first sector, but this time it's purple in the last sector, not the middle. Here comes Rinaldi Edo, 8th to 5th fastest. Displaces Leonov down to 6th. So the highest ranked Netrex currently, Viktor Ivanov in 3rd place. And here's Denahan now.
And I think Gudsis has really been a dark horse. I haven't seen much of him throughout the championship. He's always been quiet in the midfield, but now he's really coming into his own on the oval circuit. And I guess that is quite characteristic of an American driver. Though, of course, qualifying isn't too important on an oval circuit. We know we're going to have the competition cautions. So even if you qualify down into something like 21st, I think you've still got a big chance of being able to make headway in this race.
He's hardly been in the session, but Denahan's gone 3rd fastest, so he's now the new highest race place Netrex as Ivanov begins what will be one of his final laps. We're down into the last 90 or so seconds of the qualifying session. It's been very entertaining so far. A lot of shuffles up and through the grid. Here's Sean Jones. He was momentarily in 4th place, although he's looking a bit slower on this lap than his previous ones. He's going to need a big final couple of corners if he wants to improve his position. He's got is sandwiched between Ivan Leonov and Danny van der Neer, 2 Netrex cars. Here comes Jones to the line. Where is he going to go? It looks pretty tidy through the final few corners. It's a mega effort in the last sector, but despite that, he does not even improve his lap time. That's how close it is, especially on ovals. And Ivanov is purple in sector 2. That looks very tidy through there. Viktor Ivanov, 2nd place, misses out on pole position by the smallest of margins. Alfie Bellum, 14th to 5th, out of absolutely nowhere. He's up into the top 5 for FRA Sim Racing. Now, Kevin Veachers for Team Falcon in 15th currently, improving both his sectors. Can he keep this nice and tidy? Through the last corner, and he stays 15th. Despite that effort, as Gaustadis goes on to pole position again. And Barbakov is not able to match it, I think. Here's Jake Denahan in 4th place. Where's he going to go? Can he take pole position? No. He improves up to 3rd place. But Gaustadis with a mega effort right at the end here. We're about to have the checkered flag fall on this session. Denahan's pitted. He's not going to be on pole. Harry Smith goes fastest in the last sector, but only good enough for 12th fastest. He was up at the front early on as the checker flag falls on this qualifying session. And he's gone into the apron there. It's not going to help his lap time. 2, it's going to be invalidated.
Yeah, and he spins. He's given up. It looks to be almost pretty much it. I think that's Gaustadis on pole. Depends on what Ernest Lappens can do here, but it's not looking pole-worthy. It should still be an improvement if he keeps it up. No, he's realised that it's slower. So that pretty much going to be it.
Coming of age,
Harry Smith,
really.
I think it's going to be the last person to do a lap here.
And Harry...
And up to 10th.
Fastest 3rd sector. I thought he might have it for 2nd there, as we've lost James temporarily. Apologies for that. But a really coming of age for Goldstitz. he is a fairly established endurance driver. He's done very well there. He's only been in sort of the sim racing community for not too long. I think June was when he first joined, and immediately a pole position in one of the largest oval series in the game. So mighty well done to Goodstitz there. But it's only 10% on an oval circuit is the qualifying. You need 90%, has to be the race. Everywhere as far back as Stella in 23rd, and even Bellator in 22nd, I'd say you have a pretty good chance at least getting a, well, I suppose there isn't podiums in this, but possibly a good chance of getting into victory lane if all goes well.
Yeah, I think survival is more important than qualifying, and I think what Eli Pelletier in 22nd has done is pretty smart, and that's not set a time at all. Start at the back, and just kind of let everyone in front of you have the issues, and hopefully keep clean. I think that's going to be her plan, and I think that could turn out really well for her. There's a lot of drivers in real life that do that strategy every single year, and they're constantly getting top 10s, top 5s every time we go to a plate track in real life. So, you know, it's a strategy that's been proven, and it should work out if it all goes right.
I mean, she could be having an almighty sandbag and not even and be hiding some professional level pace that we just don't know about. And getting a few practice laps in at the minute, though, now. And really, the key to oval racing, I always find, is you have to stay in that slipstream. And the second any of these guys lose it, they're going to be in big trouble. And I think that's why pit stops are going to cause lots of trouble in this race.
My apologies for my internet issues there. I'm sure Tom and Jacob were doing just fine, though.
But yeah, I always found in the eNASCAR that I was watching over lockdown, the Pro Series that they do every year, it's the second the drivers would go into pit lane, it was really all about how they can manage that, and you know, the timing of the pit stop. So a lot of the win comes down to luck, and that's going to be very interesting as we wait for 8 minutes until the start of this.
Might well be less, because if we have everyone in and no one seems to be wanting to join, I think Anthony Nickman will want to get this session underway, particularly with how many cautions we might be facing.
There is, I believe, and I will double check for you, a limit on how long the race can run for.
I think it's 45 minutes, I think.
Yes, that 40 minutes. It's scheduled to end at 6 o'clock UK time, and will start at 20 past 5.
20 past 5. Okay, so in 5 minutes' time we'll be underway. But yeah, if that qualifying session was anything to go by, this race is going to be absolutely brilliant and incredibly tense. We did not know who was going to be on pole, even as the checker flag fell. But in the end, it was the dark horse, as you were saying.
That's just the way that this works. I think we're going to see a lot of drivers sort of, as I said about Joe, who's got pole position, they're going to really be coming of age in this race and really showing us what they can do. There's a lot of opportunity for people who aren't normally so fast on road courses to really just get into that, get into that rhythm and just come into their own and get a win. And Jake has gone again, so I do apologise for that. I guess if he's not here, I'll be taking lap 1 along with Jacob. So, Jacob, you've got quite a lot of oval experience. What is probably your biggest key to the race win?
Keeping out of trouble is probably number 1. I think I've got 3. Keeping out of trouble would be number 1. You've got to finish the race to finish first, as many, many famous people have said of the kind of the history of motor racing, but it's especially important in plate racing and making sure that your car has as little damage as it possibly can get. If you on a road course, if you get a little bit of what we'd call in R-Factor 2 light blue damage, that kind of thing, on a plate track that can be a big issue, because that's going to be a little bit of aerodynamic issue, damage, and that's going to make you slower. So you've got
And
to
top
keep your
speed as
car
well.
completely clean and out of as much trouble as you possibly can. Avoid the wrecks. Much easier said than done, but it is the key to kind of finishing it. And sometimes being second on the second lap, or the second last lap, or the last lap is better than being first, and you can make that run and kind of beat the other car to the line. So,
And
yeah.
how do you think we're going to see team strategy come into this? Because obviously, I know a big part of NASCAR is actually having your teammates, especially on these plate tracks, working with each other, kind of letting you have the draft and kind of just these dirty little tricks. How do you think that's going to come into effect in this, or do you think it's going to be every man for himself?
I think at the start it's going to be every man for himself, but then these drivers are going to realise that they need to work together to move forwards. And if you're Networks, you have 3 or 4 cars in the field. The most important thing you can do is get those 3 or 4 cars together, and you can control the race. If you're the first 3 cars and you're all in a team, you can dictate which line. If you have an inside line and outside line, you can dictate which line has the most cars, and then will therefore have more slipstream, because more cars on a line is going to be more momentum, and you're just going to go faster. So being able to control the race as a team, or being able to progress forwards as a team as well, you're going to, as soon as someone realizes that another car's faster than them, they're going to follow them and then try and make progress with that car. So eventually you end up with 4th, 5th and 6th in line, also working with those top 3 cars which are part of a team, and then they have full control over the race. So it's super important, and if a team figures it out this race, they're going to be significantly better than if they were all going for themselves.
Now, we've seen the drivers have actually had a bit of experience on these ovals. They have to do license races, although, actually, believe it or not, some of the people who haven't had to attend their license races are probably at a disadvantage because they're not too sure how the racing works. So it's all well and good being able to put a hot lap together on an oval. Anyone can do it. You quite literally turn left, but actually racing on them is the skill in this. And those who haven't got the experience, the AI isn't very good on RFX2. You have to really practice with your teammates. And I think the people who actually did badly and had to do the license races are at a bit of an advantage here.
It's no surprise to see so many cars out on the warm-up as well. A lot of them side by side or near side by side, but I think also we can see a lot of lessons learned from the Indy race we had. There was not very much bump drafting there. Everyone was going for the overtake as soon as they could see it. So I think that won't be very much to look back on and think, yes, it will be the same here, because not only is it different cars, I think a lot of people will have learned their mistakes from that race. And it is now 5:20 GMT, so we should be getting to the race session fairly soon. I don't know how many formation laps we have before the green light is waved for the rolling start, but it can't be too many. We are moments away from the first oval race kicking off at Talladega, Alabama. And there we go. There's the switch of the session. The cars will be making their way down to where they need to be for the start of the formation laps. And we can run you through the grid order quickly before we do that as well. Here they are.
And they look ready to go. Not quite the full grid we'd hoped for, but there is nothing more impressive than hearing the roar of some NASCARs as they wait to be unleashed onto the racetrack.
So once again, here is your order in groups of 4. And I must say, I was expecting the Netrexes to be slightly further up the grid than they have been. Netrex, Brem, those kinds of teams, all kind of owned by the same branch. I was expecting to be a little bit higher, but again, it might well have been a case of tactics. Did they all want to qualify nearer each other rather than have some of them at the front and some of them right at the back, because they are all in that mix at back here now. So everyone seems to have got away from the standing position they were in. George Whitehouse, I'm expecting him to move forward. Absolutely imperious, dominant display at Road America. never looked back from lap 1, starting 17th. And yeah, I think we can certainly expect to see him moving forward. It'll be interesting to see how the pole man, Joe Gausditz, reacts. He's never been on pole in SRL. It'll be very intriguing to see what he does. He knows the guys around him. Stoyan Barbakov, Denahan, he's raced with him before in other sims too.
Gausditz has never been on pole in any sim race. In fact, I think this is the only other league outside of ERC.
ERC, yeah, it might well be. It might well be. So it's probably his first time on pole in a sim race, but clearly showing his intent and his skill in these NASCARs on the ovals. Quieter in the road courses, but if you can make it count on the ovals, you can make it count, and it just shows how different the environment and the way you have to approach each race is.
It is a completely different skill, as they are ready to go now, I think.
Yeah, I think we'll be going at the end of this lap. It is a long lap still, 4.3 kilometers all the way around. It's longer than some road courses. I think that's actually longer than Watkins Glen, at least the layout that was used for round 1, which cut off the foot at the bottom of the track. Around the final corner now. Barbakov taking quite a high line. Don't know if he's going to maintain that for the race start. Everyone seems to be completely fine. Denahan's really getting close to the back of the car in front of him, though. A bit closer than I think he probably should be. But we are ready to go racing for round 3 of 4. Probably could be the most decisive round of the championship. If Leonov scores well enough, he might well be crowned champion by the end of today.
It's really feeling like an experiment, this race, and I think it's going to be a pretty entertaining one.
Right, coming up to the last corner now on the super speedway. Nicknamed the Egg, nicknamed Dega. It's got too many nicknames for me to go through. And there we go. The green flag is waved, and Joe Gausditz has absolutely bolted off. Fantastic start for him. Denahan has already been pushed onto the apron by Stoyan Barbakov. No love lost between those two in the 1 week since Road America. Everyone has made the start safely. Are we going to see a wreck into the first corner? It looks pretty clean, especially at the front. They all file through in single file. Very close at the front, though. Barbakov bump drafting the pole man, with Denahan not far behind at all. Gausditz maintains his lead through the first corner, but his mirrors will be full of red and black and orange too, as Denahan is all over him coming into turn 2.
Denahan had the momentum out of turn 2 though. Went up to the high
here he comes
side,
now.
with
Side by side
on the outside. They're trying to make that high side work, but it just doesn't work out through 3 and 4.
Yeah, and that's going to hold up Sean Jones as well behind.
Oh,
he was
crash in the back as well.
Big wreck in the back, huge wreck in the back. I think 3 or 4 cars involved there.
Kumide, I think.
Hallows goes round. And here, Sean Jones and Jake Denahan seem to have recovered.
Oh, and a spin in the back.
Oh, someone's off in the background. That's a huge off again, but we still are under green flag.
We do not have a caution. Anthony Nippon hasn't called it, the race director.
Yeah,
so we are still green running.
We're still green. Gausditz, I think now they have slowed down, and it will be a caution. Yeah, they have slowed down. So one too many wrecks there at the start. It took us over a lap to see one, though, before Alex Hallows spun off in the background. But some very tense stuff already at the front. But I'm actually quite surprised that the front 3 are exactly as they were on the start. Viktor Ivanov has lost a place, and Leonov has gained one. And one of the big losers there was Sean Jones. Look at him stuck down there. He was in the battle for 3rd place before Denahan ran wide and lost a lot of speed. And look at him down in 13th position now.
So remember, there has to be a 5-lap cooldown after each caution, which means that the section 1 caution might not be exactly as planned, but this is giving everyone who had a little crash a bit of time to catch up to the back, and then we can get going. Although, you know the old phrase, cautions breed cautions, so it is going to be a very interesting race indeed.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be getting underway as soon as possible from the wreck. It didn't seem like a huge wreck either. It was always happening at the back. The front guys nicely behaved. Some very close racing, but also very respectful racing. But
Picture
it looks
perfect start for Joe Gausditz, though.
Looks like Barbakov and Denahan really want to take that lead, though. Especially Barbakov, who was all over the back of him for the entirety of that first time. And a lot of cars coming into the pit. That's probably for damage. That's damage, Jacob. Or is that
strategy?
strategy?
It's a strategy. You know, you're at the back. You're only going to lose. You know, if you come in, the back 5 basically came in, so they're not going to lose much track position. They might as well just top
That
up a
is
little
true.
bit.
That is true.
Because if you have a green flag pit stop and you have more fuel, you're going to have a shorter pit stop and you can gain time. So it's a strategy that works, and I think it's smart. Get some new tires on, especially if you spun. You know, we don't have a limit on tire sets as well, like they would in real life, or in other games. So you might as well if you're at the back.
And you could see the cars actually going through the corner ahead of them. So yeah, they have lost. They will definitely catch the pack back up before we get back underway. I think these two guys here have definitely changed, definitely had some damage because their pit stops took a lot longer, or they might have taken on more fuel. Who knows? But as we stand, still the same front 3 as the start. We've had 2 laps of green, 1.5 laps of green flag racing of the 52 laps today. There will be competition cautions. Tom, if you can give us the lap times again for those.
Okay, let me allow you. So the competition cautions, as I have named them, will be on lap 13 until 15, lap 26 until 28, and then lap 36 until lap 38. So a while to our first one here, and this caution seems to be lasting quite a while. I'm still waiting for word on the race director that this is going to end. We weren't given word at the first caution.
Yeah, here was the wreck with Hallows.
Dear.
They all seem to squeeze into one another there. One of them got off slightly, but got off quite lightly, but Hallows went straight into the wall, and here's the other wreck. Sorry, it's the same one from the same angle. So actually, he's being bump drafted quite aggressively, and then
It just gets a bit loose.
Yeah, just gets a small tap. Small tap.
These NASCARs, once you are in a sandwich and you get a bit loose, it's going whether you like it or not. And it's disappointing for Alex after such an amazing race yesterday in VISC. He got a podium, another American Series.
And there was the second wreck there. That looked more on Ado's fault there, squeezing the car on his inside. It was. There's no room for error in these oval races. You make a mistake, you go offline, you get punished for it. And now I think we're going to get ready to go racing again. And Joe Gaussiditz has left his rivals for dead.
That was a perfect start from Joe.
That's much better than I think on the first lap. But Barbakov will still be with him. Denahan's kept with Barbakov quite modestly.
Get a big run now, so that's actually a detriment to have a really good start.
It might actually have hindered him. Denahan's going to be right in the fold behind. I think Ivanov. Not quite as close as he'd like to be, and you can see that they're catching him mid-corner now. This is not what Gaussiditz needs, and Barbakov is going to bump draft him. He's going to sit
just
him
sits
behind.
That's surprising. I thought he'd go for it. Yeah, it's the perfect opportunity to go when you have that.
He had the speed, and in fact, Denahan's under pressure from behind. They're 3 wide just behind these two. Gaussiditz still leads. It's the Team Falcon car on the inside. That is a big squeeze, and they all get away with it somehow. That's Gaussiditz's teammate on the outside, and I think this is Kevin Vichers on the inside trying to get the move done. He sits in behind again, not quite able to do it. Barbakov still. Look how much they've been caught. They're going 5 wide almost, and there's contact into the wall. 2 cars involved, and now these guys have to all be careful. And there's a huge wreck there. Somebody got collected. I think that might actually have been George Whitehouse involved.
No, Richard Wanders.
It's Richard Wanders. It's his teammates. It's Elliot. Still teammates. But that looked pretty avoidable from those guys, and I'm amazed they didn't crash up ahead as well. And in that time, Jake Denahan has gone from 3rd to 1st. Joe Gaussiditz has absolutely disappeared. He's been swallowed by the order. And it's now Denahan leading and under pressure. I don't know who that is behind him.
Ernest Lappins.
Ernest Lappins qualified 4th, modest start. He's now going for the lead and right behind them as well. Is that Sean Jones up from 13th, or is that
Moscato?
It's Moscato, his teammate. And now here he comes. He's got a great run on him. Moscato, I fancy him to go for this, especially knowing him, as they're side by side in the background too. Denahan still leads from Lappins from Moscato, but they're practically within touching distance of one another. In fact, they are touching. Lappins is bumping his rival down the corner. Moscato now entering the fray with a nice run, but again not quite able to pull up alongside.
It's way too early to go for. It's way too early to go for a brave move in this one yet. I think they want to sit behind. Let Jake Denahan punch that hole in the air, save a little bit of fuel, have the shorter pit stop, and then you can attack later.
And they're all still in a they're practically a glue train here and behind as well. And now Moscato looking to the outside, looking to the high side, but not able to go for the move. He seems to have this want to go down low. There's 2 laps in a row that he's fainted to go down low and then pulled back in. I think he really, really does not want to be stuck behind Lappins very long. It's just the fast lap of the race as the car exiting the pit lane, getting out of the way sensibly as they go through turn 1. Now, thundering down the back straight.
It's interesting that we haven't had any driver be brave and try and use that high line that I know a lot of the drivers in real life like to make use of. Everyone seems to just be nicely following in a procession.
Stoyan Barber. Giuseppe Stella is up from 21st up to 7th place.
This is what I said was going to happen.
Remarkable start from him. He's behind Stoyan Barbakov, so Barbakov and Gausditz must have made contact and compromised each other because they've both lost out big time and they've gone down together as a group. They were first and second, and then we left them and we came back to them, and now they are stuck down in 5th and 6th place, and Stella's all over the back of them, as is Kevin Veach's his Team Falcon, who's already been aggressive in the early stages, and now this high side you were talking about, Tom, it might well come into effect here. Barbakov has found the inside line on not just 1 but 2 cars. He's going for 2 places at once here, and he's going to pull it off. Fantastic from Barbakov. Gausditz washes up wide. He's going to lose even more places, and Stella follows Barbakov through. And Kevin Veach's also goes past. So
I think the teammates are trying to get together, and they've flunked it and basically gone to the back of this group.
Yeah, and now Ivanov and Leonov, the 2 Netrexes, also go through. They're still battling up ahead, though. It's all nip and tuck here. Going high with side by side as well. Valente trying to regain that lost time. You can see him in the back of these guys, the Netrex and the Team Falcon car side by side. And now here he comes. Here comes Valente with an almighty run. He's past the Team Falcon car. He's on the low side and alongside the Netrex, as well as Ivanov up ahead too. He might well get 3 in 1 here, and he does.
Yeah,
so back up to 3rd place.
Split up though due to just getting the momentum broken by the cars on the inside. So
and now here comes his teammate. Here comes Valente's teammate as he's now looking for a way past Stella and Barbakov, and very close there, and almost having to dodge onto the apron did Joe Gausditz, but he's able to get past the Netrex, and Veach's is actually using more than I think he's allowed to, dipping a wheel past the apron, holding on to the 5th position, which would be an excellent result for him and his team, with Barbakov just up ahead. But these guys are so far behind the top 3 now.
Last lap of green running.
Oh, Veach has turned in the wall.
They touch. Ivanov makes contact. The 2 Netrexes involved. Gausditz goes off as well. Huge accident there on the back straight. Kevin Veach's the main man involved. He looks like he's got a hell of a lot of damage. And Leonov involved and facing the wrong way. The championship leader as well is facing backwards. That's inevitably, I think, going to be a caution. That was we've stayed under green flag. And if we can, we'll see a replay
anyway,
of it.
under the competition caution rules.
So Veach's, he just moves across on Ivanov here. He just moves across on him, and then, well, I think it's Gausditz who's scrubbing the wall there, trying to get out of the way. He'll definitely have damage, but he did manage to avoid making contact. His teammate not so fortunate, and Veach's involved. Ivanov too. Let's see this again. I think it's just Veach's moving across on him. And that sets off the chain reaction. And you can see Gausditz swerving violently over to the left to avoid that crash. But I don't think we saw a caution at all being waved from it. He's on board with Viktor Ivanov now. We'll see. Is he in a straight line when he comes across? He is in a straight line. And then, unfortunately, just bounces back off of Valente. Gets hit again.
We're under caution. It actually came in quite a nice time because we're going under caution anyway in the next lap. So, kicking themselves the drivers will be, but it kind of makes the race a little bit more interesting.
And while that's happened, Moscato has dispatched Lappins, but Delahan still leads the race. He hasn't won in SRL since the Brazilian Grand Prix in Formula SRL all the way back in the AMS days, and someone is entering the pits. More than someone. Everyone is coming into the pits. Oh, Lappin, stays out. but the two leaders come in and a flurry of other cars too. Giuseppe Stella, one of them.
That was a cheeky feint there from Ernest Lappins.
Yeah, and I think he actually might have forced the other car behind him to pit as well, because it looked like he was feinting towards the pits and looked like he wanted to come in. But Lappins made sure that wasn't going to happen. If I stay out, you stay out. Barbakov also into the pits.
Though, to be fair, I wonder why Ernest has gone for that strategy. It's quite bold, and actually I think it's going to see him drop right down the order.
Have to wait and see. Danahan, this is quite a long pit stop. It's longer than the guys we saw earlier, so he's taking on quite a bit more fuel.
Unless
He'll
he's
probably
saying
change
full,
tyres as well.
unless he's saying full tank, and I'm just going to go to the end here. I'm not sure how long these fuel tanks
This
last.
is a long stop for Danan.
It's a very long stop, yeah.
He's going to be last.
Everyone's passing
out
him.
of the
Everyone
pits.
is passing him.
So I don't know
The
what's going
race
on here.
leader,
Just-
has he made a miscalculation with his fuel, or has he forgot to turn the damage off? Because this is a very long pit stop.
I think what's happened here is I think he may have stalled the car potentially and is having issues getting that engine going
Well,
again.
as more and more cars pass him down the pits, you have to feel for him here.
Unless
He came into the pits, the race leader. He's going to exit in plumb last, if he even exits. Because this has been since so long, he might well have stalled his engine.
maybe he stalled and forgot to
It
put.
sounds on.
Oh,
His
so
engine is
I don't know what's
running.
going on here.
His car is vibrating. What is going on for Jake Denahan in the Netrex car?
Is he going to be lapped? That's the question. Because
If he gets lapped,
looks like he's going to be.
like in turn 4 now.
Now, I wonder, did Jake have a bit of damage at any point, and he's coming to fix it, and he's had the old.
He's left the pits now.
He's
so
he's left the pits.
gonna
That is
stay
a
on the lead
relief.
lap.
That is a relief. He has left the pits, but he's a long way behind these guys. And if we go green at the end of this lap as well, he's going to be way behind them and have a very difficult race up ahead as Danny van der Neer has entered the pits.
We
And
have
so
more
too has
takers.
Lappins.
This
So it
is
seems everyone
interesting.
else
Now-
who didn't pit has now come in.
Yeah, that's odd. I don't know
Despite
why you
that,
would
they should
do it on the
surely they would
second
have
lap.
pitted on the lap earlier, because the
Yeah.
guys who did it before could speed up.
Now, what Jake has got to do now is just keep running as fast as he
That
can.
was fast from Lappins. That's a very
Just-
fast pit stop. But there's the queue. There's the queue, and he's down in 13th. So I don't know what these guys were doing. But they've lost a huge amount of track position now.
This is where you just leave for Jake. You need to leave your line and just. You know there's going to be a caution later on in the competition.
Here it comes, Jake. Now he's still going to pass these guys. So it's not all doom and gloom. He's going to pass a few of them. He's back up to 15th. So he's gained a few places, and
Might
now
have to
he'll be
give some of
wondering.
these back. I'm not too sure about the rules on it.
No, I think they're fine. I think that's okay for him.
He might
Well,
even be allowed ahead. I'm not too sure.
That is certainly luck of the Irish, if I've ever seen it.
Well, I mean, look on the last lap, and I wouldn't call it that, Tom. He's stuck in the pits for so long. But yeah, he's 15th now, right behind the AFP. That's Sean Jones, and then Ernest Lappins ahead. I don't know what we'll have to ask them after the race what they were thinking with that. Behind him, Jurgen van Bergen was running in 4th, now 16th. Back at the front, Owen McGougy has taken the lead of the race as a result of the mishaps of others and a very fast pit stop. So I think he started around the realms of 12th, 13th. He currently leads.
I thought Owen stayed out. And interestingly, Pelota is still dead last, which makes sense,
Yeah,
actually.
she was 2 laps
But
back.
And she got
After
involved
first
in the
bit.
yeah,
I
she
think
got
had
involved in the
damage.
incident.
So Bevan and Palacio were.
And is that Kevin
Last
Veachers
round.
who's actually second despite his massive accident? It is. He is in second place. So either he didn't pit and repair the damage, or maybe the caution came out at the perfect time for him because he already pitted. So he caught everyone up, and then as everyone came into the pits, might be the same for McGougy too, he caught everyone up, and as the caution comes out, everyone pits, and he stays out with his newly repaired vehicle. And I think, is that George Whitehouse in 3rd place as well? For ground effect sim racing, because it would certainly be impressive if it was. Anyway, McGougy is bunching this field up. Well, I think we're definitely going to go green at the end of this lap.
And I'd be interested. I don't think we're going to make it to the full 53 lap distance in this one.
I don't think so either, frankly. I don't think so either. And McGougy's bolted. Off he goes. The race leader restarts the race to start lap 14
It's a
of
horrible start at
52.
the back.
Yeah, the start is very very mixed at the back. Some guys getting a crash. They're
well.
already 3. Oh, we have a crash. We have a crash in the back, even before they've made it to the time beam. Now, there is a 5-lap cooldown period, so we won't get another caution.
They can't call a caution. Harry Smith is going to have to get out of the way very quickly, or at least get back up to speed, because he's losing a lot of time and causing a bit of a danger. This is Owen McAlgie under pressure from Kevin Veitch just now. Is Kevin going to go for the move, or is Kevin just going to stay in his slipstream for a little bit and just kind of stay there chilled? He is a Falcon driver, and they are usually rather aggressive. Jake has gone. He's going for the high line. He thinks better of it, though. He's lost too much slipstream there and lost a bit of momentum, which is crucial on this track, but he is going to be able to have a run in and have a go again around the outside. Kevin Veitch is going for the move. I don't think he's quite going to make it. He hasn't got the legs.
No,
he has got the legs, and he's got it. The Falcon driver goes straight to the lead after a first.
Is he going to cut across his rival again? This time he does. He's just got the gap. He's beat bump drafted. And look around the outside.
With a hell of a run on the outside. Gained about 5 places.
Is there too. Can Ivanov pull off his double overtake?
He's not going to be able to keep up the momentum now with them all organised.
No, he's got no toe. He's got absolutely no toe. He's going to be swallowed by these guys. And he's down from 2nd to 6th, and it might get worse. His teammate, swiped across. Who was that? That was Gogo Moscato swiping across him.
I think Moscato had a bit of a wobble for tapping the back of Lapins, and it just sent him up into Ivanov there.
So but look at these two teammates now, actually.
Veitch leads, but he's got the 2 ground effects.
They're going to go together as well.
Yeah, they're going to go together. He's going to be pushed by his teammate here. As someone was going off, that's Denahan who's making his way back over the field. We got an almighty scrap, and through indeed does go Owen McAlgie into the lead in terms of where his car is. Is he going to be able to hold on to it as they come into the next turn? I think so, and his teammate just stuck up right behind him.
His teammate out to dry. He had the gap to pull down, but he's not left his teammate out to dry, and it's going to cost them
and
both
Valente now switches to the inside to try and come through. Barbakov's in this as well. And look at Ivanov and Leonov with the runs that they've got. Might be 4 wide coming into this corner. But look at that. Who's that with the enormous amount of speed? Crash! We've had a wreck, and it was the person who had the amount of speed.
Yeah, it's Moscato.
Who was it? It was Moscato with so much extra speed. No, that's his teammate he's collected.
Well.
Sean Jones collected by his teammate. Someone else as well involved. And that just got too close for company there. Too many cars trying to share the same amount of road. I don't know who he was collected by. But back at the front, they keep racing. And to the inside, that's pretty illegal
to the outside,
from whoever that was.
Goes to the front.
So Netrex take 1-2. Features still trying to hang on the inside. Denahan up to 4th. Lapin's also up to 5th. Features looks like he's going to maintain this lead. Here comes Leonov now. And Denahan and Lapin's too. Denahan's going to overtake Lapin. Oh, no, we have a caution. Yeah. I think we have a caution now.
That was quite weird. I didn't see a 5-lap cooldown there at all. I don't think that happened in the end. Unless the race director...
You could see a replay of what happened between these guys. So this is Moscato collecting his teammate. I think he should have stayed high. Nothing really Sean Jones could have done there.
To be honest, looking at that, I think Sean has got just as much blame on that as Moscato.
Here's the incident. Let's see. So, Diogo Moscato...
Sean, sorry,
comes across...
Yeah, he gets a crazy run and tries to make it 4 wide, and it's just not worth it. They managed to keep it together all the way down to the inside wall, but Moscato just loses it on the, not really the track, but on the apron there, and just spins in front of the field, takes out Kumade, takes out Sean Jones. So Moscato probably should just try to slow down a bit more there.
To be honest, looking at that again, I think Sean has got a bit of blame on that. I can't really tell. At first glance, it looked like he went for a move on. He looked like he went for a move and didn't back off. I could be wrong though. To be honest, looking at it, it does look a bit more 50-50 than when I first saw it. But definitely not completely Moscato's fault. We are on caution still, as James is having a few issues.
This internet's going to be the death of me.
So on board with the replay with Sean Jones there. So you see them up on the inside there.
So this is Kumadiev right ahead of him. So here's Moscato.
Now he's just trying to avoid. And there, so Kumade comes down in front of him while they're trying to avoid, but Sean Jones left it really tight and just kind of kept his foot on it. So probably should have, they all should have slowed down really.
Yeah, I think everyone's got as much blame as each other there.
Kumadiev is also in an AFP sponsored car, so triple whammy for Raps the Neo Force Polonia. And yep, straight into the pits for him. And have we got underway, or is this right at the start? Oh, this was right at the start.
Yeah, this was
of
the
restart.
at the start.
This was Harry Smith. So Harry Smith, he's now 20th.
Yeah,
what are they doing? What are they doing?
Yeah.
It's so unnecessary.
Kind of because just different speeds. I don't know.
Well, Magauji went a lot earlier. Magauji went a lot earlier than Joe Gaustaditz did on both attempts on the restart. Now back to real time. So it's a Netrex 1-2. They always seem to find a way. Netrex 1, 2, and 4. Split by Ernest Lapins in 3rd place. Stoyan Barbakov has recovered up to 5th as well.
Saying pre-race in that if Netrex can get their 3 cars 1, 2, 3, they can control, they can dictate which line has the momentum because they have enough cars following each other. So if they get out front, they can really control the race, and it's going to be difficult for other drivers to overcome that team advantage. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah, George Whitehouse has dropped all the way down to 14th, in fact. 13th, actually.
This is where you decide who's going to get the race win, and then you go with that. You don't fight each other, I have to fear.
Right, are we going green at the end of this lap? We'll find out any moment now. Is he going to put his foot to the floor, Ivanov?
Safety car driver has definitely had a lot of work cut out today.
Yeah, and I think he's gone.
Nope, he has not. He has stayed as slow as possible. Oh no, he's backing the pack up actually. It looks like ready to bolt, maybe? No. We're going for another lap of caution. As well, James's internet really doing him dirty today. So, another calm lap of safety car running. We have got 10 minutes left in this race, no matter what. The race has to end. The race has to end at approximately 6 o'clock UK time, so we will not get the full running in. I am sure of that now.
Well, we have 12 minutes to go until we hit the hour. So yeah, I don't think we're going to get the full 53 laps here.
We tried.
Well, I mean, we didn't have a single caution at Road America, despite the nature of that track and all the predictions of how many we were going to get. We had 0. But there were always going to be cautions on ovals.
Yeah, I think this is genuinely a case of cautions breed cautions. We had a lot of clean running in between cautions, and then we've had 2 back-to-back cautions. So I think that's really the kind of thing that's happened here. Obviously, your brakes go cold, your tyres struggle to get to temperature, and that just breeds more cautions.
We've had a backstretch restart.
And there he goes. He's gone on the back straight. They've gone. Now, and Denahan has overtaken Lapins. So Denahan's up to 3rd. So wonderfully coordinated by Netrex. They've probably been mentioning that before the race. Okay, if we're in the lead, we'll do this. And look at Denahan, he's already passed Lapins. So it's Netrex 1, 2, 3 as they come up to start lap 20 of 52.
And that is why they are the only... that's why they're the only FSR Pro team in this championship, because of how class they are when it comes to strategy. They really are in a class of their own. And this is where they just stay. Although Jake Denahan is going for the move. He's going all the way around the outside.
Behind as well. Battle right up behind. That's the Team Falcon car, I think. Yeah, it's Kevin Veach side by side. This is Joe Gaustaditz. And oh, they've crashed! They've crashed! The 2 Netrexes have come together. And Leonov goes from 1st to last. So that was not part of the plan, I'm sure. Ivan Leonov, he's got away without hitting any walls. But he's right at the back now. And we'll see a replay of that in time. He's going to be fuming, will the championship leader. So Ivanov leads. Denahan now 2nd. And I think that was between Jake Denahan and Ivan Leonov there. Because it was Denahan who was going for the move when we left him. And now he's bump drafting his teammate. They do have a very decent gap back to... in fact, Lapid has disappeared as well. He's been overtaken by Valente. Gaustaditz has gone past as well.
Plan gone to mush for all.
That was an accident behind. Leonov again involved.
No,
this time I think that's actually
a bit of an issue.
Oh, this is a replay. Sorry, yeah, this is a replay. So that was the incident. It was not with his teammates. His teammate had passed him already, and then he just keeps on going, albeit in last. So again, we'll just see the rest of the lap. We see Denahan and Lapins both closing in. That's what we missed. And Lapins. Denahan goes high, and oh, so no, it is Denahan who actually initiates the crash.
Yeah, that was weird to kind of lose it like that on.
Yeah, and then
track.
it kind of carries on going all the way down to this point, and eventually the momentum Lapins had was enough to spend Leonov into a proper spin. Nothing really Lapins could have done, though. That explains why he lost so much time. And now Denahan, right up behind his teammate. We're feeling a bit guilty. Hopefully he doesn't want to take out his other teammate too. Victor Ivanov staying very, very low.
Got cars behind them as well, so got 2 teams of 2. As we see Veachas go down to the 8th, and hopefully he doesn't come back up in front of anyone.
And here they come to the outside now. They're working together. Working together again on that high side as the net races where, we had a little bit of contact and a multi-car shunt. Barbacom involved.
That's the big
Both
one.
FRA sim racing cars. That is the big one. 6 or 7 cars in total I counted involved and sliding across the wall. I think that's George.
Sella is in the wall.
He is in the wall, quite literally, yes. And that's his race done. And that will for sure be a caution if we haven't had the call down.
That is got to be a caution. I think there's no real 2 ways about it.
I think he has to press escape at this point. There's no way out of that wall.
That's the thing.
So
because he's moving.
Yeah, that's right.
That is true, yeah. He's still moving. So actually, no, one of the FRA sim racing cars was not involved in that.
Yeah, that's true.
They're going to have
to survive.
They're going to have to. The race director is going to have to come in and disqualify Stella here because he can't escape.
Yeah, he has been.
Features another big. Oh, and there we go. There's the caution. There it is. There's the caution.
Do feel sorry for Stella there. Had to get.
Is Leonov going to get out of the pits here before? Yes, he is. He is going to get out of the pits before the leaders.
Oh.
And that's not what we want to see. That is not what we want to see. Contact on pit exit.
This is becoming a rather bit of a farce, really. I hope they don't mind me saying.
That was not the best piece of driving I've ever seen from Alessandro Valente. Oh my word, going airborne.
If that was real life, that would be a very scary accident indeed.
So
but thankfully, this is the sim, and there's no real potential to get hurt.
So let's see this again. So he is the one behind.
I think it's going to be the same with Denahan, where he just loses it.
Let's see.
Oh no, he tries to go down.
Oh
in
no,
front of
he
Alex
comes
Hallows,
across.
Comes
he
back
comes across
up into
Hallows
Lapins, and Hallows picks up. Not
My
quite
good,
sure
yeah,
what his car is there. And
4 or 5 cars collecting him. Yeah, 4 or 5 cars ramming into him there.
There's nothing you can do there. On a road course, you can just slam on the brakes and hope, but here you can't, because you slam on the brakes and you cause a bigger accident.
Oh, that's a bit embarrassing. Whoever that was in the background trying to spin back around. It meant Leonov also went and had to go into the wall to avoid it.
They always say in ovals that you have to go towards the crash, because by the time you get there, the crash won't be.
But I think when there's that many cars, I think it's difficult to.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think when there's that many cars, you're
often
crashing.
instinct is always get out of, like, go as far away from the crash as possible. Yeah, sometimes it's better to just drive through the middle of it. And here, Van Bergen, yeah, no chance. And collected again. Then he's going to have this a little bit slightly embarrassing spin here, right in front of his teammate. Gets too much power down and round he goes. Or did he get hit again?
I don't think there was anyone.
Why he got hit again? Anyway, he was the one I think who was involved with Valente in the pit exit incident that we saw.
No, so Leonov was behind all this.
It is Leonov. Leonov is way behind all of this.
He was already been crashed.
You might be able to see it just up ahead.
No, it's too far down the corner, I think. But he'll come across the aftermath and will come across his teammate as well.
Yeah, so he's just driving a nice lonely race, casual.
Well, he'll already know there's a crash because he'd have been told it. And he just sees the car coming up.
And now he sees it.
And then he doesn't. And then actually on the shift, so he's trying to slow down, shifts too early.
Or maybe he shifted. Maybe he shifted so he could be put into a spin, kind of like. I remember the best example was Massa in Silverstone when he was avoiding Raikkonen, who just had that massive accident. Shifted down so he could spin out of the way, and I think we're going to have another lap of caution.
4 minutes to go in the race. It's going to end.
This was right at this. We might have gone green.
We are
and-
green,
have.
indeed.
Yes.
We are green. Okay, so we have been on the replays a little bit too long. We are back underway. The two
And it's a
Netrixes again
clean
very
restart.
coordinated.
We had
very
Kumide's spin
coordinated
on
at
the
front.
start actually, so not perfectly clean, but only one car spinning, not a crash. So
Look at Denahan
could be
right up
worse.
behind his teammates again. And Gaustaditz also has, I think it's Lapins right up
No,
behind
that's
him.
a lapped car. I don't
It
know,
might be a
is.
lapped car. No, yeah, we'll have to get a clarification on that. But either way, they've caught back up to the two leading Netrexes. Vichas is catching them as well. This is going to turn into a multi-car battle. Denahan again goes up high. That's not where he needs to be. Ivanov now needs to go up high and give his teammate the so it's exactly
the two
what he's
ground
done.
effect cars on the third lane there working together, and they're going to go up to second.
Yeah, going
But
right around the outside, up to second place and third as well. I think they're
they lost
still
Whitehouse.
side by
Whitehouse up to
side.
second. So
This
And
is
George
where you
Whitehouse
Whitehouse
and
is
the
still
Gaucho
there.
working together, but they've just kind of let
Gaucho goes
himself
up a bit
to
high.
dry
Look at
there.
Denahan. He's been completely
Yeah.
swallowed. He's down to the very back of this train. It might
And
even
under the
get
apron,
worse
and
for
around
him.
goes Whitehouse.
Oh,
And Denahan into the inside wall.
Oh.
Whitehouse avoids contact with the wall, but that's a real
That's
end
bitterly
hit for
disappointing.
Denahan.
yeah, that's
Jake.
both of their races done with hardly any time remaining as well. And we'll see back at the front. Ivanov still leads. Gaustaditz is now back up to second. They're 3 wide behind. The poleman. Can he do anything here and clinch first place as he had on the opening lap and for the opening few minutes before being overtaken? He's going high. He's going around the outside. And Vichas wants that low side, but he backs out of it quite sensibly. I think Ivanov was not going to give it to him anyway. Ivanov holds the lead. Vichas is now being overtaken by Lapins around the outside. Wonderful pass by Lapins. Look at the speed he's got. Sorry, it's Harry Smith.
around the
It's
outside.
Harry Smith coming around the outside of everybody.
But he's by himself, so is he going to be able to keep up the momentum?
Yeah, is he gonna keep up the momentum? He needs to cut back before Vichas gets into where he is, and he hasn't done so.
I think we're
Vichas finds the inside line on him.
under caution again.
Oh, we might be under caution. Yeah, I think they've all
So
slowed down.
It feels like it's a lot slower than it was before.
This is the competition caution,
And
I
in
believe.
fact, we don't have much time. If we're going to stop at 6 o'clock, it is now, 5:59.
I will ask Anthony, and I will come back to you. Oh, and James has gone. It's quite awkward. There?
So
He's
he's back
back.
straight into the pits.
So it seems this race won't be ending in a few minutes' time.
Well, if it does, Ivanov's lost his.
A lot of people have lost it. Because look,
Yeah.
they've all gone,
Oh, I think they need to read the rule book because this is a bit of a shame. That
if
is
we
the
are
case.
if we are ending now,
Which we should be ending now, actually. If we, bear with me.
This reminds me of Daytona last year, where not Daytona 500, but the Coke Zero 400 in the summer. I think it was Kurt Busch who was leading, and they got the one to go to green, so they pitted, and then a lightning storm came in, and it put Justin Haley in the lead, and the lightning storm ended the race. So if it had come one lap earlier, Kurt Busch would have won, but with that pit stop, it put Justin Haley in the lead, and he won that race from nowhere, with him being in a kind of backmarker car. So these things happen, and I think in IndyCar it happened 2 years ago at Iowa with Robert Wickens. I think he pitted
Well,
with
I-
1 lap to go, and then they didn't go back to green, and Hinchcliffe won that race. So these things happen, and
yeah,
it's
Wickens had a
unfortunate.
few wins robbed of it. Wickens had a few wins robbed of it, most notably his debut, when he got spun round by Rossi while he was leading.
I wonder, though, is this a thing in the game that we're going to go with the 40-minute thing, or is it a thing that Anthony has to call
No,
himself?
I
'Cause
think
if
it's
in-
because we have a lap. We definitely have a set amount of laps, 52. We have a
No,
set
because
amount of laps.
you can have finishing criteria in the game of laps and time, whichever happens first.
It would show time on the display if time was I think.
If it was becoming, well, we can't really see it now because the safety car is in the way.
Yeah, 'cause it always says laps and time that you can do. So I assume Well, according to the rules, the race is going to get checkered flag out in a minute. I guess we'll have to see.
We'll wait and see.
Well, we've
yeah.
got Gaustadis coming into the pits, so I think that might not
Gaustadis
be
is
the
also
case.
pitting now. Oh no! But look at everyone staying out behind him.
Yeah, so Veach now takes the lead with Harry Smith in second, and Lappins into the third place.
Veach's wins this. That'll be Team Falcon's first ever sim racing win. If it gets called now.
And Gaustadis misses his box there, has to reverse.
Oh, he's missed his box, has to reverse into it.
But I think he had a big enough gap to the car, the other car came in, which I think was his teammate Valente and Richard Wonders, who was the 00 that we couldn't figure out who it was earlier. And there is Wonders. We might jump him here. No.
We're still in the dark here. On this, I have not got the information for you from Anthony. According to the rule book, we will be going under the checkered flag right about now.
Any minute, yeah.
Well, if it was in game, I think they'd have a warning. You know, they'd have 5 minutes to go warning. So
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because so many, a lot
they
of
do
leaders have come in.
Oh, they would have 5 minutes to go warning. That's a good point.
Someone's blowing a hole.
And I feel like these people have to have the message sent to them so they would know. So confusion here at Talladega. And I'm still yet to get confirmation from Anthony that the race is going to end. Definitely a long caution though. This.
Here, as we're
So after 29 laps, here's your order. I think though, it would be taken after 26 or so because of the confusion and a lot of leaders and front-running personnel
if
pitting.
it was to end here under caution, this would be your results. However,
yeah, there's nothing in game. There's nothing in game. This was my quick trying to put something on screen while I go check. So yeah, there's no time limit in game, so it's going to be Anthony deciding when the race will be over.
Yeah, we might well race all the way to the end and then see if when Anthony wants to take the result from.
Which I think would be a bit poor, to be honest, because the rule book should at least get clarified at this point, I have to feel.
And we're back to going flag racing.
We are underway
Which
again, just as...
Gets a jump, but as I've said before, that might be detrimental to him keeping the lead. We'll have to see, and we have a spin in the background. That's Denahan and Moscato and Giuseppe Stella. And a spin at the front as well, Harry Smith around. That was a horrible restart.
It appears, yeah, this has been a bit of a nasty race overall, you have to feel. Not the best showing from our drivers here, but Kevin Veichers is still in the lead after such a disappointing weekend for Falcon in other series, getting banned outright from some series. They look like they could be on course to win this here, although that's AFP car.
He just got turned into the wall, so that's not going to be the case.
Oh.
Veichers hard into the wall, but and he gets collected, not physically, but almost by netcode by the FRA car there. I'm not quite sure which one that was. That's extremely unfortunate for Veichers, and it looks like he's going to escape here because that was
so the race hit. News from Anthony, the race is going to laps. Okay, Jacob has not Jacob, you're Jacob. What's his name? James has has gone now, so unfortunately it will just be me and Jacob for the remainder of this race, as we are green and we're going to stay green for the time being, as this is a really interesting battle between this pack of front running
penalty. I think he's just pitted and got himself a speeding penalty, so it's unfortunate for him because he's on the lead lap just about, and I think it's going to put him one down. But this might be him on the apron here, about to be lapped. We'll have to see.
So this is Jones, Layoff, McGauchi, and Pelleter. That's Pelleter in fourth.
Gotta say, very impressed with Ellie there, to get herself up to fourth.
Wow.
And she was 8th on the restart, so gained 4 places since the restart. And like I said, except that early on in the race where she was 2 laps down, she's kept it clean and kind of at the back of the train. And as we've seen with the crashes we've had, keeping it clean, even in being in one wreck, is better than most drivers. Trying to make the outside work, trying to get someone ahead of her to go with her to the outside to try and pass Jones, but just no one's having it. But she's got nothing to lose by just trying to force that outside to work, because the gap to 5th place is 6 seconds, so she might as well just keep trying to work that outside, trying to get a run. Looks like she's going to bump her after Magauji here, who's almost into the back of Leonov. Magauji under the yellow line.
Oh, he is into the back of Leonov, and oh, he almost spun there. It was a nice little save, actually. But we're fully going for it now. It's just an outright sprint in the last 20 or so laps, and Leonov in 2nd place as the Falcon car is into the pits. Leonov is kind of staying there. I don't think anyone's really going for any moves at this current time.
Trying to force itself under the yellow line there. Doesn't make it work. She just couldn't get underneath her. But it's a bold move. She's really trying to make some moves here and trying to go forwards.
You want people to be bold, and Ellie Pelleter is being bold. Oh, it's not quite working for us so far.
Just going to move to the...
We will be having another...
Oh, Kumade to the inside wall. Hard.
Oh, dear.
But it's just him. It's just him. So should stay green. Who's just turned into the inside there.
We should have another competition caution next lap, but I don't think we will because of the 5-lap cooldown. Unless that's my mistake, Jacob.
I'm not too sure. We've got the 3 FRA cars here, so this could be trouble for the leaders. We've got 3 FRA cars, Bevan, Valente and Galstadis, lined together. So if the 4 at the front, in Jones, Leonov and Magauji and Pelletier, don't kind of stay in line, these guys are going to be coming fast because they're teammates, they're not going to try and pass each other. So it's going to be interesting to see what the lap times here. They've got an 8-second gap to make up. And as I say, that Galstadis pulls out a line. Oh, it's Bevan. So they're going for a... Looks like they're going for a... yeah. And that's really messed up Bevan, so I'm not quite sure why they've done that.
That was an attempted switch, but a failed switch.
Yeah, it looks that way. It looks like they tried to do like a cycling relay kind of thing, where they rotate who's
like
at the front.
Like the geese when they're flying, doing their migration.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But it just doesn't work.
Oh, that Falcon car on the apron. That was very precarious there. And they are going to battle, actually, these 2 cars.
If they do, they're stupid. Just being honest there, because they've got an 8-second gap to make up. Bevan's caught up, so they are back to a train of 3, and they just need to keep it like this. Maybe they thought Valente was the faster car, and we've got action up front. We've got Sean Jones and even Leonov pitting, as well as a lapped car there. I think we have Valente into the pit, so that makes sense why they put Valente first. Valente misses the pit lane. Valente misses the pit lane, and that's not what he wanted at all. That's awful for Valente, and he gets a penalty for cutting across, maybe not meeting the commitment line as well, so that's even worse for Valente, and he's thrown it all away with that pit entrance. And we're under caution, so that's why they all came into the pits, was before the caution.
That is the competition caution that we were on about.
Well, that was not good. So Sean Jones is probably going to retake the lead here from Leonov. George Whitehouse.
He's got a penalty, Sean Jones.
Oh no. Has he sped? Has he realised that it was too late and he sped? I'm trying to look in a separate tool, because sometimes the graphic says everyone's got a penalty when they leave the pit lane. I don't... Yes, Sean Jones does have a penalty. That sucks.
Race bottled for Sean there, really.
Is he going to be able to take it under the yellow flag, though? Is that a thing we're allowing? Because if it's not, he's really going to... He's going to be, almost a lap down. Probably a lap down if there's not a caution soon after he serves it. So it's unfortunate for him, as we see Magauji and all the other leaders, Pelletier, Gastidis, and Bevan, all coming in. Valente didn't lose too much time there, but he did get a penalty, so...
I cannot really see much on the rule book about this, so... We're coming up to an hour of race running here. It's by far the longest SRL race we have had, I believe. No, it won't be, because of the Indy 250.
Yeah, well...
That would be longer.
Next week's going to be 200 miles fixed, so it's going to be even longer, I think.
Yes, 200, not 200 laps. I don't know how it works.
So I think Gastidis was the first car out of the pit lane there, beating Eli Pelletier. So I don't know what happened to everyone else. Magauji came out in third, so Magauji lost time there. Magauji came in first and came out in third place of those who pitted. Trying to find Sean Jones, who's up into third place. So Rinaldi Ido is now a race leader from Eric Kumide, both of whom did not pit, I'm assuming. And then Sean Jones, the first car to have pitted, is in third. It's a bit confusing with the pit stops, as it's not quite as organised as it would be in real life. So it's difficult to keep track of, because real life would have everyone pit on the same lap.
I think everyone's kind of just winging it here.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure anyone really knows what they're doing.
We still wait, though, for that famous green flag to fly. Still under safety car running. It feels like we're always under safety car running here at an oval race. Of course, I wasn't here for the Indy 250. I was at Le Mans. So this is all new to me. Not new to some of these drivers, though. They've either got experience from Indy or they've got experience in the licence races that happened as early as, or as late as 4 PM today. So some people had actually a warm-up before the race. But I believe this could be the lap that we go green. Everyone seems to be slowing down, ready to bolt. Is he going to do it? You'd think he'd already done it if he was going to bolt now.
Green, and Van Bergen in the background just went fully to the right. So got on the thought too hard. Kumide's got the jump here. Kumide to the outside with Sean Jones trying to take the lead. The Valet car and the AFP car working together. No surprise there. So into the lead goes Kumide. Can he hold it? Leonov to the bumper of Ido 2x2. And Leonov just couldn't get there and bring up Ido's momentum. So Jones to the underneath the 8th one, trying to get past Kumide. Doesn't do it. So Kumide still in the lead. Leonov to the outside of Ido behind. As here comes Ernest Lapins to the back of Ido, sorry, not Babakov, and pushes him out the way. Car under the 8th one. I'm not sure who that is.
It's going to end badly.
To the
you
outside.
just feel it.
So Pelletier from 12th to 5th. 4 wide now. This is not going to end well. I can't see this. There's banging between Ido and Pelletier. Barbakov spins Ido to the wall. Pelletier in the wall. Lapins in the wall. That was always going to happen.
We said there's going to be a big one, but I think there's been about 7 big ones today.
That was a mess all the way from the exit of turn 4, pretty much.
This hasn't been the greatest showing. Someone stuck in the wall. This definitely hasn't been the greatest showing of oval racing that I've ever seen.
Lapins got that wrong. So Lapins still in races there in 4th. And
in
we
the
still
wall as well.
have drivers being super aggressive. 4 wide again in the background. Barbakov on the outside of that. No, it's not Barbakov on the outside. It is, sorry. Still 3 wide. Tries to fit the gap. And again into turn 1. We almost have a crash. Barbakov spins in front of Leonov. That's again, over-aggressive driving, trying to fit a gap that just isn't there. Leonov now loses out once again.
You've just had a long caution period, and you're
Into the
driving
wall.
this aggressively.
This is too far. There's been
This
about
is-
4 crashes on that back straight. I can't keep track of all of them. Alex Hallows now leads the race. Valente
How was
to the
Alex Hallows
outside
leading the race?
of Moscato and Whitehouse. Magalchi's in second. Oh my god.
This is not even too fun to watch. It's
I'd be amazed if we don't have a caution here, but here comes Magalchi to the lead with his teammate to the inside, and then all the way around the outside comes Richard Wanders with Joe
Alex.
Gaston. Alex
Why
has
is Alex
missed
so
the
slow?
gap, and he's down to 9th already. That's not good for Alex. Around another car on the wall, Jürgen van Bergen with Kevin Weechers.
oh,
my God. Oh,
it's well done to keep it out the wall, but it's definitely a bit of a poor display here from our drivers. But this AFP car is going for it.
yeah, Moscato's
Moscato.
pushing too hard to the White House and into the wall. Gets
Oh.
my god. Oh dear.
It's
I-
painful to watch.
Yeah. I think Anthony needs to step in here and do something about this. This is... Yeah, we're going under caution here, I think. And I hope that some people get
10 laps remaining.
some serious
Yeah.
kicks to the backside after this race. Because that was
I-
just
I-
not good.
As an admin of the league, I don't want to be too harsh on the drivers and make anyone feel bad, but I think everyone's got some serious lessons to learn from this race, for sure. It's not been the most... It's definitely been entertaining, but it's not been the most... the most clean affair.
Yeah, I feel like this was always going to happen. You know, if you... I don't understand why we didn't do a more normal oval first, where everyone's not so packed together. That's the thing with the plate tracks, is you have so many cars in such a kind of short distance compared to a smaller track, which you'd think, you know, a bigger track, a wider track would be a cleaner race, but that's just not the case due to being able to spread out more on a track like Charlotte or Atlanta. So I feel like we should have done one of those first. Rather than
Yeah,
straight
even
to
with 20.
Talladega.
And Daytona next as well. Probably the second most famous oval in the world. And yeah, it's... I mean, just look at that accident. It says it all, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And what a horrid day for Ellie Pellicer.
Well, it's gone
Started
good at
last.
times. You know, she was up to
Started
fourth.
last.
She was going for
Got-
kind of the lead there, but just lost out, and then just with Ido there was just kind of going door to door all the way down the front straightaway, and eventually it turned bad.
Every time she makes progress, it just immediately goes down the drain. And there's the other crash. One of many crashes, actually. In fact, we could probably have this go on for hours if we wanted a replay reel. A highlights reel, I should say. And I have to say, it's been quite an odd race indeed. That's Alex Hallows getting everyone a little bit wobbly after his poor
Yeah.
defence.
So
and yet
Veach's
Van
just
Bergen-
didn't see Van Bergen on his inside, which is, you know, I assume these drivers have the spot on. If they don't, then that's their fault.
I-
You know, that's
apparently
a
a
very
lot of these-
obvious kind of car on your inside if you have a spot
apparently
on,
a lot. Apologies for cutting you off there, Jacob, but
Yeah.
apparently a lot of the drivers here do not run spotters.
Well, they are stupid. There.
Exactly.
You've got to run a spot on an oval race. You know, on a road course,
think
you kind of... It's a lot easier to judge who's around you than on an oval. You need a spotter on an oval track. And even on
I'm
a road
gonna
course, it
link-
can be helpful on lap 1. So, yeah, you need the crew chief plugin. I think that's what you're about to say. The crew chief plugin is...
Yes, exactly.
It's an amazing tool. I've been using it for a couple of years, and even on road courses, it's super helpful to know who's around you, and you know, it gives you a lot of information on fuel and what other cars are doing. So somehow,
game-
gets this data from the game and just turns it into something useful.
Interestingly, I think the game actually outputs it, which is the same way
Yeah,
that
it does.
SimHub works. The game outputs it and then doesn't give you this information.
Yeah.
There's so much information I get through SimHub that I don't get in the game.
Yeah. SimHub can tell you when the race is going to start. It gives you like a countdown to the green flag. And I think it got banned in Formula Sim Racing, or like restricted. If you get proof that you're using the countdown in SimHub, you get a big ban for using that, because it can give you such a huge advantage at the start of the race, knowing when the green light is going to come out. So yeah, SimHub gives you a lot of information.
Almost too much information, you'd have to say.
I think,
but it looks like
as well, we had a team who made the SimHub adjust things like brake bars and boost depending on where they were on the track.
Yeah, you can do that as well.
And we're back to green flag racing. Migauji gets the jump.
But you don't want the jump, as we saw earlier.
Without a good start. Wander's in third, trying to pass Moscato. I'd have thought that they'd have just kind of worked together to try and catch the lead, but they've not done that. So this could actually work out for longer than we'd usually see from Migauji, but they get in line behind them as we're looking, I think, at 8 laps to go here.
8 laps indeed. It's going to be 8 long minutes, really, for Migauji, as he's just got to stay out of trouble. If Migauji stays out of trouble, I think it's his to take the win.
Oh, I'm not too sure. He's going to get absolutely swamped when these kind of pack of, I think that's 6 or 7 cars catch up to him, and they're going to catch up to him on the exit of turn 4. Got 4 cars lined up on the inside who are steaming up to the back of Migauji. And here goes Moscato to the outside, and then wanders to the outside of him. Crash in the background, that's Ivanov. And then to the lead goes Richard Wanders.
I did not see our leader getting swamped quite like that, as there's a spinner in the background again. And we've got Wanders in the lead out of absolutely nowhere. I didn't even know he was racing and he's in the lead.
Wanders to the front. We've got Lapins and Moscato under the apron there. That's not... wow, they managed to get back on the track there. That's very surprising. We've got 3x3 in the background car under the apron. That was Van der Neat. Can he get up in time? No. But somehow keeps it on the track. That's one of the ground effect cars getting pushed onto the apron by Alex Hallows there. And we're still 3 wide behind them. But up front, it's once again a single file train. Is that 5 wide I saw for a split second there? No wonder these guys are crashing so far.
Why would you go 5 wide though? Is what I want.
Immediately it kind of gets itself back into 2 wide, which is at least manageable compared to 5 wide.
We need to teach people that...
And he's dropping all the way back. He tried to sit in the gap. He's trying to get in a gap, and he's trying to keep getting in that gap, even though there's a car alongside him. So let's push him back even further. Wanders still holds the lead from Moscato, but Moscato's going to get one hell of a run here with Lapins. Tries to go to the apron. What is Moscato doing? Why is he trying to go to the apron when he's got all the track on the outside and a massive run that can kind of use that? Because out of turn 4, you don't really lose too much going to the outside compared to if you're going to the outside in 1 and 2. 5 laps to go. Wanders out front. Again, Moscato's going to get a massive run through turn 1 and 2. He's going to try and go to the outside here with Lapins behind him, I think. Yes, he does.
And the trouble we've got...
both go to the outside.
Oh,
and Lapins turned him. Lapins turns Moscato into Wanders. And out in front of Hallows, Kumade involved, Stella, Leonov, and Vichas all involved as well. But that's, once again, another big one.
Alex Hallows has come out quite well.
That was all Lapins there.
That was... This
and
is...
Barbakov takes the lead from Van der
going
Neat,
to end with
Migauji,
caution,
Whitehouse, and Garcides.
This might end
if we're racing to the
caution.
line, Migauji could get it here. If we're racing back to the line, no, just about. I think these guys are going to start now for a caution. I think we might be able to
caution,
get going white checkered. Might.
That's a good point. Do we have green white checkered in this?
It's possible to kind of
then again, I think we
over the
might be here
game,
till
but
Saturday.
you mean next Saturday?
Yes. But, I should have said Christmas, and it would have been a lot funnier. But
I think more New Year. So we have 2 retirements: Jake Denhan, who I think retired a while ago, and I just missed it, and Eric Kimade as well. 2 cars in the pits, Wonders and Star, and we're just gonna have a quick look at the replay here.
yeah, it's quite mature from Jake to retire. Actually, it just wasn't his day. It looked like he could have won. I used my favourite to win, but just a bit of a shame for him. And this is the accident then for you, the Netrex car.
Again, they're just kind of full throttle into the wreck. Some arca brakes for these guys. They need to learn to slow down. And I think that will solve a lot of issues if they try to slow down. We're gonna switch
people need to just
here as well and see, because I think Lappins was at fault here, but I could be proven wrong. So Moscato to the outside, and Lappins just doesn't go early enough. Tags Moscato, who then goes into Wonders, and then they just go in front of the field because there's nowhere else to go.
This is where you've just got to, in these races, you have to drive conservatively. You cannot be aggressive. You have to stay in the slipstream, and the pass will come if it's going to happen. You don't just force a move. You can't force a move on an oval. It has to just happen. I know in all the oval races I've done, you physically can't. You have to just wait for the move to open up, and it will. You can't. It's not like road course racing where you can hang it around the outside on the final lap bravely. But we
I
could
think
be.
I think on the final lap you just kind of go for it.
Oh yeah, on the final lap.
Apart from that, you gotta play pretty slow and let the race come to you. Because if you try and force something too much, you're gonna crash. You know, as we've seen many times. I think every car in this race has been involved in at least one crash. Valente, I think, has kept it quite clean. I think he's been one of the cleaner drivers.
Do you know what?
Wonders has also been quite... And we've gone green again. Yes, so we're on lap 50, well not 50, with the lap count in-game being 1 higher due to the formation lap. So we've gone green on the back straight, so again, we've been caught out by that. And Barbakov, I think some of the drivers have also been caught out by going green on the back straight, because Barbakov has a 7/10 lead with, I think we're going to come down to 2 laps to go.
This is McGouchy, look at
this could be for the win here with McGouchy and Barbakov. It depends how organised the cars behind get.
This is going to be very interesting. It's going to be these two for the win. You have to feel potentially. I don't think Whitehouse has got much of a chance in 3rd position, but this is the 5 victory lane. It's got spin behind. I think that's one of the Falcon cars.
Spinaldi Ido spinning in the background again. I don't think we've got a restart without 1 spinner. Luckily, I don't think there'll be another restart with 2 laps to go. 1.5 now, as you see McGouchy behind, and again, a huge pack, 3 wide, Moscato on the inside, Van der Neet, and one of the FOA cars on the outside, and this is Whitehouse being pushed by Moscato up to the back of the 2 leaders, McGouchy and Barbakov, and then the 2 teammates, ground effect teammates, McGouchy and Whitehouse, give the inside lane to Moscato. Moscato being aggressive and turns him into the wall, and Alex Hallows is going to be leader with 1 lap to go. Alex Hallows leads from Sean Jones, Van der Neet, and Gausdidis. So
white flag flies.
Everyone crashes in the background. But Alex Hallows takes the lead. Sean goes to the outside. Sean Jones tries to shove it on the inside, and Sean Jones into the lead on the exit of turn 2. Now, can Van der Neet into the wall? So Gausdidis turns Van der Neet into the wall, and Gausdidis turns Hallows into the wall. And this is going to leave it all to Sean Jones. He's going to have half the track to himself, and he's just got to bring it home because everyone else around him has crashed except him.
Christmas has come early for Sean Jones, and this is what he has been waiting for so long. He got the pole at Indy, he didn't get the win, and Sean has always wanted an SRL win, and it's never happened for him, and now this is where he can start to breathe a little bit easier, because he is going to come over the line, and he's going to win the Talladega. I don't know the race distance, so we'll just go with Talladega. He's going to win Talladega here in the Stock Car Series of SRL, and he's going straight to victory lane. Mighty drive.
That race ended about as well as it started, and Victor Ivanov came home P2, Van Bergen in P3, Alfie Bevan P4, Stella P5, who started, 21st, Lappins in 6th, Wanders 7th, Harry Smith in 8th, Van der Neet in 9th, then Alex Hallows in 10th after leading with that 1 lap to go, Valente in 11th, Pelletier in 12th, Vichas 13th, Ido 14th, who spun on the restart, so made up 6 places even though he spun on that restart. Gaustides 15th after crashing out pretty much everyone on that last lap. That was really poor from him. He was going aggressive. I guess I said you should go aggressive on the last lap, but not take everyone out. Van Vickers did that once in real life here and took out 2 of NASCAR's most popular drivers, and he's been hated ever since for it. Leonov 16th, Moscato 17th, Migauji 19th, Barbakov 20th, and rounding out the field, as I said earlier, with 2 retirements, Kimide and Denner.
And at the end of it, we've got a feel-good story. Now, Sean has tried to be winning one of these for so long. He's had such a dismal run of form. And finally, he's picked up a win out of nowhere. That's what happens when you stay out of trouble. Alex Hallows will have to feel very disappointed. He had such an opportunity to win, and he just didn't quite get it. This is your...
Looking at the replay here, Moscato closing in on the back of the leader and just tries to go to the middle, but also just turns. I think it was Barbakov in the lead, and he just turns and trying to go the overtake. It takes everyone out. Obviously, the leader, being 3 wide as well, just takes out the front 3 wides and takes out everyone behind him as well. And it's not what he needed to do.
Right, so we're going to drag in Ellie Pelletier.
Let me just finish going through these replays first.
Oh, sorry, Jake.
Again, on board with Moscato as he goes to the middle, and I think the server is going to stop me from going through these replays. But yeah, as you see that crash from on board with Moscato, and yes, the server has decided that it wants to restart the session, and so I wanted to get a replay of the Hallows crash, but unfortunately that's not the case. So yes, over to you with the interviews.
So we've dragged Ellie Pelletier into the call. Welcome to the stream, and difficult race for you, but you had a few bright moments. What were your what went on there?
I had 3 chances to win it, so let's just get that clear. And every time I was caught up in everyone else's incident. I mean, it's just the lag didn't help, which I believe caused a few of them, but it's like just all the incidents happened. It just it's hard to avoid, especially when sometimes the cars just pop up in front of you. If you're running less cars, they could just pop up and you'll never be able to see it coming. It's just difficult and actually really annoying.
It did seem like a war zone out there. It was it was like watching a game of Fortnite, never mind a race.
Yeah, the last big one, which was one where there was no cautions called, that really I think was one of my best chances to get into the lead to win. That, as well as one where I went side by side with Owen on, I believe it was the last stage ending, where I went side by side, and it was so close there to get into the lead. I think if you're in the top 3 or top 4, you're fine. But if you're like mid-pack, you're dead. Like, there was a bit where there was no cautions for ages, and the top 4 were all just bump drafting each other, trying to go for the win. And then hell transpanded.
Yes, anyway, thank you very much for the interview. We have your race winner for you now, so we'll see you next week, Ellie. Hopefully you can pick up a win in Daytona.
Hopefully, I mean, overall, surprisingly, I never thought I'd be good at it, but yeah, because bump drafting always sometimes unsettles the car.
Anyway, thank you very much, and I guess we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Okay, so race winner now, Sean Jones. Sean, you have waited, I think, since, but a year. A year ago, you joined Valve for the season 5 finale, I believe,
Yeah, it's been just
and
about a year.
you have finally, in this league, got a victory. It's taken you, I think, a year and 2 months, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such an emotional roller coaster because you know that anything can happen in these races with how like high speed and dangerous it is. And I was like a lap down at one point, and just incredible comeback.
It's you came out of nowhere. I saw it the last time. I was like, oh, Alex is winning, and it's like, oh no, Sean.
Yeah, because I thought at some point I was gonna win, and ended up happening just not the way I thought it would.
So in good shape now to maybe press on and pick up a win on the big one, the Daytona 250, I believe it'll be, or 200 miles. It's one of the two. But
Yeah.
you must feel ecstatic and very well done to you.
Yeah, man, thanks so much. And well done to the team. They helped a lot with like team strategy and everything to make sure that that worked well.
All right, thank you very much, and enjoy your victory.
All right, thanks, man.
Right, we've got Jürgen next, but before we do that, Jacob, you love a feel-good story. You have to, and I think Sean probably gets that.
Yeah, well, there's pretty much that entire race. Technically, I'd say any driver other than Nerex winning would be, a surprise winner. So there was multiple times in that race where you looked at kind of the top 4 or 5, and you'd be like, wow, we could have, a first-time winner quite easily in this race, and it obviously did happen.
Yes, anyway, we've got Jürgen now.
Oh.
Jürgen,
Yes.
desperately close. Desperately close.
Desperately got them close for a chaotic race that this was. I'm still shaking a little bit, if I'm honest.
It sounded like a certain fix of adrenaline for you guys.
Oh, definitely. Yes. I mean, we had the Nectrix guys. We had our radios synced with each other, and then like it was me and Victor trying to work to the front, and then it was just seeing that it's actually gonna happen. And me, as probably one of the most rookie sim races in the league here, it's just nice to see that all the bad luck and that type of stuff finally changed around, and I got a podium. I would like to thank Netrax, Danny van den Niet, for pretty much giving me a chance to drive for the team. I would like to thank Carlos Martin. Sadly, he couldn't be here due to personal circumstances. But I would like to thank him for giving me the guidance and the mentoring that I need. And of course, Victor, Harry, Jake, all the other guys at Netrax, Ivan, of course, as well, for practicing together and getting to where we are now.
And, well, you must be thinking, surely Daytona, you've got a very good chance at picking up a win. Is that what you've got your sight on?
We'll see. I mean, Daytona is a whole different type of track, so we'll have to practice for that as well. And of course, I mean, look at how it ended up today. The race isn't over until the last lap, until the white flag has been changed into the checkered. So we'll see next time on Daytona how it's going to end up, but we'll do our best and see where we'll end up.
Thank you very much, and best of luck for next week.
Thank you as well, man. Thank you as well.
All right, so that was Jürgen van Bergen, your second place, and we'll have some closing thoughts now, Jacob.
Sorry, I was just finding the unmute button on my microphone. Well, it was an interesting race. Hopefully we get a lot of wrist slapping and ass slapping if when required, because that was a wreckfest. I think every driver will agree that was a mess, and I think every driver is aware that they need to improve as well, which is probably the best thing. If you don't make mistakes, you can't learn. So hopefully next race is a lot cleaner. After seeing that race, I might not give it a go. I was intending on racing next week, but I might leave it if it's going to be just as bad, and stay up here in the commentary box.
So it would be very disappointing. I was excited to be able to commentate on your win by 5 laps.
Oh,
In,
I wouldn't go that far. I'd say 7 or 8. No. But yeah, I might still consider it. Obviously, I'm the one on the broadcast and the cameras, so I might be the only one that can stream. So we'll have to see. But I'm excited to give it a go if I do decide to, and if not, I'm excited to see if these drivers have cleaned up, because there's a lot of drivers that showed really good promise.
Right, I have been informed. Apologies, Jacob,
Yeah.
but we've got to interview Victor. Otherwise,
Okay.
Anthony's going to give me my own wrist slapping. So, Victor, hello.
Oh, hello.
It's got to be a quick one because we've been going for 101 minutes now. So,
Yeah,
just give us your thoughts on the race and getting yourself into a very good position for the championship.
I honestly don't know, guys. I was lost at the last caution, and I mean, for suddenly I got my teammate Jürgen behind me, and we started bump drafting, and everybody was just was falling down like flies ahead of us. There were crashes everywhere, and at some point, like just before the last corner, we ended up second and third. And I truly believe that we had one more lap, we could have caught Sean as well, because we were running so much quicker. We were catching it like seconds on the straight only. Because the difference between bump drafting and driving on your own is like 30 kph. But yeah, it was a fun race. It was amazing. Honestly, it was absolutely amazing. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you as well. Anyway, we are going to end the stream there. I would like to thank James Smith earlier for taking the lead commentary role until his internet conked out. And I'd also like to thank Jacob, our man behind the camera, doing some amazing camera work again with the overlays.
Yeah, finally figured out replays this week, so we got that bonus. Although I missed the timing, pretty much every replay by about 5 seconds. Every time I'd replay for a crash and I'd be halfway through it and I'd have to adjust it. But it's a learning process, and at least we have replays because we needed them this week.
Yes, first man in R Factor 2 to ever figure out the replay system.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. You have to be in replay mode, but then move it to live, and then it will allow itself to adjust. So it's a weird one. I had to adjust it mid-race without anyone realizing.
Anyway.
Yeah, so next week, Daytona. Hopefully
Same
cleaner. Hopefully cleaner and shorter. Although it might be the same length even if it's a clean race due to it being longer.
Same time next week. Be there for the Daytona race here in SRL. It's going to be a really, really important one. The title decider as well.